Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm on my local trails. Like I said, I put on the Lyrik fork in the front of this Stumpjumper S-WORKS 15 EVO. Again, another mouthful. I had the Zeb on before, I put the Lyrik on. For you guys, I'm testing out in more of an enduro setup versus a trail setup. If you watched the past few weeks video, it was more of an enduro setup. Now I put the Lyrik fork on, both at 160 travel, and I did put the bands in the FloatX Genie shock, which made it so much more responsive, more playful. I'm really digging it now. I wasn't liking it before. So there really is two ways to build this up, and it works both ways. However you want to ride, it works well as an enduro bike. It works well as a trail bike. I'm going to tell you a little bit how the trail setup felt this week. So let's get started. So off the bat, this is a size S4. It's the Stumpjumper 15 EVO. So it's 160 travel in the front, 145 in the rear. It has as an S4, it has a 470 reach. I'm 5'10", it's been fitting perfect. I have a 150 dropper post on it to get the fit just dialed. And this bike's a slayer. When I had it as the enduro setup with the Zeb and no bands in the rear shock, it was a plow machine going downhill. Not as playful as I would like it, but it felt a little bit more of a pure enduro bike. This week, I was able to put the RockShox Lyrik fork on, same travel, and I added 3 bands in the back to the FloatX Genie. It says it comes with 1 already installed. There were 0. So when I put in 3, it changed the spring rate and the shock became so much more livelier, so much more poppy. I was having a blast. I was able to J-hop. I mean, I have a bad back, so before it was just so planted, and where I really noticed it now with the bands is it's a way better climber. It wasn't crazy bad before, but better climber and better at sprinting with the bands and to change the spring rate. So when I'm standing now and I'm sprinting, the back is more lively, so it's almost like it's pushing me forward, where before, even with the rebound all the way dialed, it wasn't as lively with no bands, and I felt more like sinking into the ground like quicksand. So there is a big difference when you add those bands. If you don't add them, I mean, it might work for you. It's a bit slower, less responsive of a shock, more like, you know, sitting on a couch, you know, and sinking in. But when you add those bands, it's super lively, like a trampoline. You can really dive into the rebound settings a lot better. And it kind of does have a happy medium, but I was really enjoying that. You notice it on the climbs, you notice it on the downs. So it does open up as a trail bike more if you can add those bands. And it's not really hard. If you watch my last video, I show you a little bit on how I did it. You kind of have to take the shock off, which is a little bit inconvenient, but it worked out great. So what I noticed going downhill is, again, if you want a more playful bike going down, you'll probably want the Lyrik setup and the bands in the back installed. Again, I put 3 out of 4 in the FloatX Genie, but it was a lot easier to just like whip around, maybe, you know, get some cutties in, just a little bit more responsiveness, where with no bands in the back, it was just, you know, almost like a dead feeling, but it was really good at plowing through chunk, but just not as, you know, responsive as a rear shock. The Zeb in the front, again, was really good when you really just want to plow. Otherwise, when you're going uphill and, you know, not just plowing a straight downhill or just going as fast as you can, you know, that shock really wants to feel live. You know, it wants to feel its best plowing downhill versus the Lyrik, a little bit more well-rounder. If you're going slower, you can still feel the responsiveness of the fork. You know, you can do a little bit more tech stuff going uphill. So I think the Lyrik is such a capable fork for this bike where you can have the best of both worlds. But I was liking the Zeb from the enduro build, but again, testing out the enduro build versus the trail build. And the S4 just has a long wheelbase in general compared to the S3. So it's a way more stable of a bike than the S3, which is a bit more nimble. But I can confirm that you can build the S4 in more of an enduro setup and a trail setup. Either way, it works great. But again, for me, I chose the S4 because I like a more stable bike, longer reach, longer wheelbase. Works for me, but there's some 5'10" riders that might want more nimble of a ride. Maybe they're not standing up as much going down. For me, when I was on the S3, standing up, it would hurt my arms. But yeah, for you guys, my outcome's pretty good. I mean, honestly, build it up either way. If you want to build it up as a trail bike, it's going to work great. If you want to build it up as an enduro bike, I mean, you could just have this as your pure enduro bike and not need something with crazy amounts of travel. It's going to get the job done. When I had the Zeb in the front and no bands in the rear, it did feel like it had more travel than it did. So I mean, I think it's great. It's already on the enduro circuit, the EWS or whatever they changed the name to, because Charles Murray's been racing it. And I think he's been using a 170 fork in the front, but he switches between a Lyrik and a Zeb. Depends what his setup is, but this bike has already proven to get some podium spots on the EWS. So again, it works as an enduro bike, but I think as a trail bike, it's great. I mean, it was 32 something with the Zeb fork on, and now it's like 31 something pounds with the Lyrik on. So it's pretty light built either way. And it's not, you know, I have some heavy duty parts on there. So it's been working out great. I'm really happy with it. I can't recommend it enough to you guys. I hope this has helped you guys on how you want to build up your stump jumpers or maybe adjust yours. I'm going to be taking off this parts off this stump jumper to build up another frame that's from another brand that's comparable to the Stump Jumper EVO. So again, my main thing with these bikes, guys, is switching parts left and right, switching frames, comparing them against each other, and helping you guys out on your journey to see what's going to work for you. I think you're gonna like this next brand. It's gonna be sick. As far as bike handling, I mean, either way, it's been a really easy bike, even with the longer wheelbase, to like maneuver around turns. I wouldn't even mullet this bike. I don't like mullets on analog bikes. I think they work well with e-bikes, but again, I like the stability, so I'm not gonna mullet this bike. I am gonna dabble with the tires, so maybe the next video before I swap the parts onto a different frame, I'm gonna test out the tacky chans and see how those are. I'm trying to dabble with other brands and not just be a Maxxis fanboy to see what's out there. So again, I'll make a video of how the tacky chans are on this bike. More of a trail air tire. I'm gonna do 2.4s front, 2.4 rear, ultra soft and soft compounds in their trail category of a tire. So we'll be able to compare those with the Maxxises as well. And this bike can be built out, again, either way you want to do it, but there's so many adjustments. You have adjustments near the chain stays on the bottom to lengthen the wheelbase. You can change the angle set plus and minus a full degree. So there's 3 settings for that. There's neutral, then there's a +1, then there's a -1. I have everything in stock. So right now I have the headset cup with nothing. It's just in the neutral. And then I have the rear in the low position. So I think it's been fine. I haven't had to dabble with any of that, and I don't think I will. I mean, I'll probably do it for video wise, but I wouldn't need to actively be switching those up. But if you're into that stuff, it's a sweet option. It's a very versatile bike. Kind of do whatever you want with it. And I would say also both builds, enduro, trail, like obviously the trail build, it climbs a lot better than with the Zeb and no bands in the back. But I think as an enduro build, like for that option, it did climb really well for what it was. But when I stuck the Lyrik on and put the 3 bands in the rear Genie shock, it was night and day difference on how much faster it was climbing. So I think like the real, build for a lot of people is gonna be more of like the trail build with like a Lyrik or a 36 in the front and sticking some of the bands in the rear shock. But it was very lively going uphill once I did that. Before it was still pretty good, a little dead in the rear just because again, the rebound wasn't quite there, sinking a little bit more in the rear when pedaling uphill. But honestly, like it's a great climber. And as a send off to this week's video, again, I wanted to keep it short. The other videos have been pretty long, just getting some quick comparisons between the trail build, the enduro build, and just future builds and future suspension that I'm gonna try on this. I'm not done with videos for this bike. I'm gonna still, even though I'm switching parts to another bike, still gonna build it back up, still gonna do some RockShox flight attendant builds with it. So again, I'm still gonna dabble with all this stuff for you guys. But I think the biggest thing for you guys is pick the sizes carefully. Look at the geometry charts. Don't just look S3, S4, S2, S1, whatever. Look at the geometry charts. If you're a veteran, you've been on bikes, look at the gear that works for you. I would say if you want a more stable of a bike and you don't care about more of like the nimble feeling and you just want to point it down and go as fast as you can, and they climb pretty well, size up. The S3s are really small. It's a really short reach. Like it's drastic. Like I think the S3 is like, what is it, 445 reach, maybe a 450, but then it jumps up to like 470. Like it's not marginal, there's a big difference. So look at the geometry of what you guys are riding right now, and then maybe go based off of that. If you're new, you kind of take a hit, but you'll learn quickly what works best for you. And if you haven't already, guys, like and subscribe to the channel. We're almost at that 1,000 subscriber mark. Helps us out, helps me put the content out there for you. The channel is growing, so I'm stoked to see all of you guys commenting and liking and subscribing. So, comment down below. I'm always interested in to see what you guys are riding, what your opinions are, any recommendations for me to ride. Again, I think it's awesome. I love dabbling. So if you have any recommendations of frames, bikes, or parts, drop a comment down below. I'll see what I can do. I'd love to test some stuff out, and I'm always down to try new things. Till next time, guys.